25 years ago, thousands of New Mexicans were forced to flee their homes as a massive wildfire bore down on the mountain town of Los Alamos. That fire started by a National Park Service prescribed burn that spiraled out of control.
The fast-moving flames scorched 48,000 acres and destroyed more than 200 homes, leaving a lasting impact on New Mexico history. News 13's Jordan Honeycutt looks back on the Cerro Grande Fire.
For days, Los Alamos residents watched the sky as the forest near their homes began to burn. What had started as a way to control forest fires instead turned into a nightmare. KRQE News 13 had around-the-clock coverage from the sky and the ground.
This is an inferno. Several homes are on fire, and here's the front end of the fire. Moving back into the forest, more homes are just down the road, and the wind only continues to push this fire.
So how did the fire start? On May 4th, 2000, the National Park Service started a prescribed burn, but several critical errors were made before the fire started.
They didn't plan for the level of complexity and the level of the possibility of escape, given the place where they were burning. The crew was basically understaffed. They had not brought in enough people to do what needed to be done in order to hold the fire. Had they understood the complexity of what they were doing realistically and not made some key bad assumptions, they would have had a lot more people up there, or better yet, they would have said, now is not the time to do this fire. Let's wait till fall when things are wetter.
According to a report, the fire burned quicker than expected, and with high winds, it grew out of control.
The winds carried evidently some embers. We're not ruling out anything at this point over the line, and that's what started the main blaze.
This was described to me as a cloud. Imagine a cloud filled with burning cigarettes. I mean, as in burning cigarettes. That cloud went over the fire line and boom, like a bomb, exploded on the other side of the fire line.
With the fire moving toward Los Alamos and Los Alamos National Lab, crews faced a tough challenge.
Because it's moving so rapidly, it's very dangerous to even contemplate putting people in front of it.
They set up fire lines to prevent the fire from going past the line. They actually believe that the fire jumped from a mile away in one of the hot spots given the wind and the condition.
In some cases it's burned so hot that the ash is a foot deep or more. And in some places the soil is sterilized and may even look like glass beads where the atomic bomb was first exploded.
As the fire raged, the decision was made to evacuate Los Alamos.
We start driving around Los Alamos and we're left, right? Everybody's leaving Los Alamos. And there are literally fires starting in people's front yards. And I'm out there stomping out fires. And they tell me that 3,000 houses are going to burn that night in Los Alamos, which is just staggering. And I'm there and I get emotional every time I talk about this. But that evening, early evening, in rolls dozens of fire trucks from surrounding communities into Los Alamos. And oh my gosh, I mean, unbelievable. They drive in a convoy, and that evening, basically, they spend the entire putting out fires. And I mean homes that are burning, but all those firefighters are out there putting out fires in people's front yards that would have spread to their homes.
Despite the danger, some people stayed.
This is your house here, we're next to?
Yes.
And you don't feel like you gotta leave yet?
No, I'm not leaving. The family, they're at home, or they're somewhere else, so.
Aren't you concerned that what's there right now could be here right now?
Yeah, hopefully not though. Hopefully not.
So you're trying to fight it with a hose?
I'm just trying to wet down my area and wet down my roof.
Others had no choice but to leave.
So yesterday afternoon we were evacuated, and I went to my friend May's house in White Rock, and we were watching TV all evening and watching Los Alamos burn. We'd gone to bed about 1 o'clock, and at 1:30 we got a phone call. They said, look, I felt White Rock was being evacuated.
As hours turned into days, people had to watch the news to learn whether their homes had burned.
We start off with 35th Street.
The addresses are.
And the moment of truth came. Now we go to 46th Street. And waiting for the worst came to an end.
It's not there. It's hard to take. Something that shouldn't have happened.
Jordan Honeycutt, KRQE, News 13.
This would be the most destructive wildfire in state history until 2022, when the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire scorched northern New Mexico. That fire was started by the U.S. Forest Service and burned more than 340,000 acres and destroyed more than 900 structures, mostly homes.
The Cerro Grande fire was not the only fire to threaten Los Alamos. The Las Conchas fire in 2011, sparked by a downed power line, would burn 150,000 acres. While people braced for the very worst, the Las Conchas fire was in part stopped by the Cerro Grande burn scar.
It had two heads, and one head went down into Bandelier, and the other head went almost directly towards Los Alamos. And if that head of the Las Conchas fire had not run into the burned out area that was left behind by the Cerro Grande fire, it would have slammed directly into Los Alamos and would have been a much more intense, much more disastrous fire than Cerro Grande was.